Okay, we are getting good in progress, attendees being added in. So maybe let me just take the time to start the section. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Merlin, the head of policy and research from the Business Environment Council in Hong Kong. Good morning to guests in Austria, and also good afternoon to the guests in Hong Kong and also in Asia region. As you have registered for this webinar, is particularly about the Austrian technologies which would be relevant for Hong Kong's smart mobility initiative. We have a really packed schedule. We may slightly overrun, but it's very compact and meaningful. I would just really take a quick time to tell you what it is about. So first, we will definitely hear about Austria, because many of us know about Austria is more famous for music and nature, but actually it has a lot to offer from the manufacturing, engineering, and the mobility sector. And recently, Austria has also shown a lot of interest in dialogue for more smart mobility initiative with the wider Asia and also Hong Kong region. So we are very happy again to partner up with Advantage Austria for today's webinar. And we see also Franz Rosner from the Austrian side, from the Austrian Trade Commissioner to join us today. Good to have you again. So basically, we will start this webinar by having a brief introduction by Mr. Martin Dirnwoeber from the Austria's Mobility Agency to have a bigger overview about what Austria is doing in terms of the solutions and policy in the Austrian side, in the national and also policy level. And then we will go deep into Austrian technology providers to share a very brief intro about their solutions and try to catch your interest and stay connected in the future, because actually they also offer some one-to-one discussion that you can schedule. So my message is really to catch the mind and drop down the contact and contact Advantage Austria later if you find interest. And lastly, we will hope to spare some time for Q&A. I hope we can allow time because we have quite a bit of presentation here. And last but not least, today our webinar actually took place under the framework between the Austria and Hong Kong Innovation MOU. And we are very glad to invite Mr. Alexander Unker from the Austrian Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology for his welcoming remark for us to kick off the section. So Mr. Alexander, are you here? May I pass the floor to you for an opening remark?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Merlin. Yes, as mentioned, well, you heard probably the name of my ministry is quite long, so the short version is BMK. So I represent the Austrian Federal Ministry for Climate Action, and I'm heartily welcoming you all to this webinar. I will keep this really briefly and short. I just want to take a minute and talk about the Techsport initiative. Why? Because today's event is part of this Techsport initiative. And I'm very proud of this initiative, as you probably might imagine when I tell you that I invented it with my boss together. So why are we doing this? We are doing this to connect Austrian technology providers with stakeholders abroad. So this is what we do today in this Technology Day, but we also have a platform. It's called the Techsport platform, www.techsport.at. And there you can see technology profiles that allow you to specifically look for technologies. It comes in 6 languages, including Chinese, not Cantonese though, unfortunately, but in English. And it's a different concept than looking for a company. Let me give me your example. For example, if you want to buy a laptop computer, you know you can go to Apple, you can go to Lenovo, you know these companies. But if you need better and more precise roadmaps for self-driving cars, you probably don't know which company to contact. And we have a Austrian company that specializes in technology for these high-resolution maps. And to be honest, I forgot the name now, but I don't need to know the name because I can go to that platform and look for the technology, look for mapping technologies, and then I'll find the technology and then the company. So all the companies you will hear today up on this platform, but so many more. So I hope you take the time and have a look at it. Furthermore, with this Techsport initiative, we can also provide RTI funding for tailored innovation. So if you find a probable partner here who has a product, but that product is not really fitting the Hong Kong needs, we can provide funding to adjust the product so that it fits the Hong Kong needs. So we will also be able to support Austrian companies here. As I said, I will be very brief. Time is of essence, so I wish all of you a successful webinar and a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Maybe later we arrange another funding section. I think the Hong Kong side may be very interested. And for next, we would actually go into today's main topic. First, we would like to welcome Mr. Martin Dirnwoeber from the AustriaTech side, who is also the manager for the field of digital transport infrastructure. So basically, AustriaTech is Austria's official mobility agency with a team of over 70 experts cooperate intensively in different areas of mobility issue. As we know, I think like they in the Austria side, they are also quite strong in the future mobility as well as on the data side. So without further ado, I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Martin for you to elaborate your work in Austria.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction and good afternoon from my side. And thank you very much also for inviting me to present some Austrian mobility solutions. I would like to start with brief information on AustriaTech. So AustriaTech is owned to 100% by the Austrian Federal Ministry for Climate Action, Environment, Energy, Mobility, Innovation and Technology. The focus of our work is mobility and transport, and we support transformation and change processes to make the mobility system more sustainable, safer and more efficient. To achieve this, we address areas as sharing, data access and exchange, mobility solutions, connected and cooperative automated mobility, infrastructure to vehicle communication and many more. In my presentation, I would like to give some insights on Austrian mobility solutions. And so I will focus in the next 10 minutes on key elements of the Austrian mobility system. I've selected 3 key areas which I would like to present. And the first one is an ecosystem of platforms as the basis for several mobility solutions in Austria. The second area is the communication between vehicles and infrastructure. And the third area is electromobility. So I will start with an ecosystem of platforms we have in Austria and which support several other mobility solutions. And with this first slide, I would like to give a brief information on them. And in the next slide, I will then show how they are interacting. So the basis for a lot of systems is a graph reference platform. It's called GIP. And this is a reference system of Austrian authorities for transport infrastructure data. It contains public transport, cycling, walking and car transport, and this data is available as open government data. An important aspect is that all federal provinces, together with the Federal Ministry of Climate Protection, the Austrian Road Operator, Austrian Railways and Association of Austrian Cities and Municipalities, have developed a common system and data structure that is uniform throughout Austria. And this makes this platform suitable not only as a basis for as a basis for traffic information system, but also for e-government processes. As another platform, we have the base map, which is official geodata of Austrian administrations. It's free to use, and it's available as well as open government data. It's updated every 2 months. Another key platform is AVIS. This platform provides information on traffic situation, on travel times, delay times, and an event management for Austria's major roads on a nationwide basis in high quality. This includes messages on planned events, on unplanned events, on current traffic situations, and also on the predicted traffic situation. Then we have the Mobility Association Austria. It's an association of the 7 public transport authorities in Austria, and they are working together to use synergies to further develop public accessible mobility in Austria and to make it even more attractive. And finally, I would like to provide some brief information on the Austrian traffic information. It's a multimodal traffic information and routing system providing real-time information. It is supported by the main domestic system participants. And one of the goals is to encourage a switch to sustainable means of transport, as well as to improve traffic safety and efficiency of the overall transport system. Another goal is to represent the available transport offer in Austria as completely as possible. So now I will show how these platforms are interacting. And we see on this slide here that, as I mentioned before, that the graph integration platform provides the basis for localization for several other platforms. And then we have here on the top the Traffic Information Austria, which receives also information from real-time traffic information from AVIS and the public transport data from the Competence Center Public Transport, which comprises the Austrian Railways and the mobility associations in Austria. So this was a brief overview on this ecosystem of platforms. And now I will switch to the second area, which is another key element of our mobility solutions. And it's about the interaction of infrastructure with vehicles, with single vehicles via electronic messages, which is called the Cooperative Intelligent Transport Systems. And the aim is to increase sustainability, safety, efficiency, and capacity. On the next slide, I will give some an information on why it is important for Austria. And you can see here on this map of Europe, you can see Austria in the midst of Europe as a small country. And therefore, it's a key element for us to rely on open standards so that we can ensure seamless services independently of the specific country. And also that we have independence from proprietary systems. And also to accomplish better solutions. And therefore, we are part of the C-Roads platform, which is developing harmonized CITES specifications in Europe. And this is the basis for rollout of infrastructure CITES services in Austria. And also in a lot of other European countries, as you see here in the dark blue colored countries. And this specifications and profiles are based as well on a cooperation with the car-to-car communication consortium, so where several OEMs are represented. On the next slide, I won't go into details, but this shows the groups of services which have been specified in the C-Roads platform. And we see the different groups, so signalized intersections, in-vehicle signage, pro-vehicle data, SADA's location notifications such as accidents or traffic jams ahead. And then one of the first services to be deployed is the roadworks warning. And here I will give a bit more information on the next slides. Yeah, roadworks and incidents, as mentioned, are that the first services to be implemented. They are available already. The Austrian motorway operator ASFINAG is currently carrying out the deployment of more than 500 CITS units on its road network. And this will be completed until 2025. So with some vehicles, for example, Volkswagen Golf or ID3 or ID4, you can already receive CITS messages, warnings about roadworks and incidents. Yeah, I think I will go now to the next slides because due to time reasons, and on this I will provide some information on traffic light applications, which are also implemented in pilot phase in several Austrian cities. So they give information on signal phase and timing. In Vienna, for example, it is prototyped for public transport prioritization, and also other cities in Austria use these messages for public transport prioritization. And in Brno, which is not in Austria, but I would like to mention it as well, it's already in operation for the prioritization of emergency vehicles. And the research and development interests in Austria are, of course, working towards transmitting mandatory messages. Of course, this is a future topic, but nevertheless, it's important to start now. Yeah, other cooperative ITS services are about vulnerable road users. So sending messages when road users, for example, are on a pedestrian crossing. This is implemented in a pilot implementation in Graz. And a very important tool for traffic management are the urban vehicle access regulations, also sent by electronic messages, which are more in development now, but I think an important future topic. And yeah, due to time reasons, I will go to my final slide. And here I would like to give some brief information on electromobility, which is also very important for us in Austria. So an action plan has been, or a mobility master plan has been defined and set up and published in Austria, and this is linked to several actions in the area of electromobility. And yeah, I will just, yeah, due to time reasons, provide two measures to make electric mobilities more attractive. And one is the amendment of the residential property law. So since the beginning of 2022, this amendment allows parking space owners in apartments buildings to build their own charging stations without going through a lengthy process of getting approval of every single owner. It makes it therefore easier to have electric vehicles when living in apartment buildings. And another measure is the exemption from payment in kind for charging company cars at home. This is in addition to other tax exemptions to make the ownership and the use of electric vehicles more attractive. So this was just a presentation of some Austrian mobility solutions. I hope it was interesting. Thank you very much for your attention. Yeah, and I will now give back to Merlin.
Thank you, Martin, for being very punctual. I don't think we have too much time, but maybe one or two questions, because you summarize 3 aspects the agency is working on: government data platform, open standard, and also a little bit on electric mobility. I think a very quick question is a lot of our listening audience here are from the Hong Kong business sector. So essentially in your national work, when you say data collection and sharing, how do the businesses in Austria contribute to the data? Like, are they consulted? Because sometimes they want some data, but government they do not share or does not have the available data. Maybe you can shed some insight on this.
Yes, so it's sharing of data is a very important topic, as you said before. To as the basis for new mobility services, as the basis for also for other companies to build on. So I think we have quite a lot of paper with data which is free available, as open government data, and we are currently in discussion in setting up a national data space where data can be shared easily. Of course, there are, we are currently in the phase of discussions with several stakeholders. We try to include them in the discussion to find out what could be the best way of sharing. We've just been going through a process on digitalization where we where a lot of stakeholders have been involved from the Austrian ITS community, but also from the public side. And now we need to move on this next step. So it's in development, and also some research projects will be funded in this area. So these are our activities in this area, very briefly.
Thank you. Maybe next time we hear about another project update on this national data platform. So for now, I think we take a switch angle from the national sharing to actually, I would pass the ball to Mr. Michael Zimmermann from the Austrian Research Promotion Agency to join us to facilitate the introduction of these Austrian technology providers that are looking for partners or different type of cooperation opportunities in Hong Kong. So Michael, let me pass you the floor.
Thank you, Merlin. Good morning and good afternoon from Vienna. And also thank you for the good cooperation from my side. We at the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, we aim to provide the international audience with an overview about Austria's most innovative tech providers. And with our TechSport platform, we try to do exactly that. We are also responsible for recruiting the tech providers, looking for knowledge partners, users, and distribution partners. As you might have seen, our colleagues from Advantage Austria office in Hong Kong have prepared a wonderful booklet of all the participants of this event. So you can still book one-on-one meetings with them today until 6 p.m. or tomorrow in the afternoon. Or you can contact the Advantage Austria office in Hong Kong, where Ms. Yvonne Choi will support you in arranging introductory calls on another day. So it's now my great pleasure that I can highlight a few of our Austrian tech providers in the field of smart mobility that are looking for local partners. And I would like to ask our first speaker, Mr. Joseph Chin from Kapsch TrafficCom, to take the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. 大家好，我名係叫程志偉，Joseph Chin, Solution Consultant Asia. Next. Okay, challenging the limits. Next, please. In Kapsch, we strongly believe in pushing the boundaries with innovations and to harness technology for a healthy world without congestion. Next. Kapsch was founded by Johann Kapsch in 1892. It is more than 130 years old and is currently led by our CEO, George Kapsch, who is the 4th generation leader from the Kapsch family. Next, please. So Kapsch is a renowned global provider of end-to-end transportation solution. We have implemented more than 50 projects in many of the countries. And especially, we have 25 offices located globally in Europe, Americas, and Oceania. Our future is in our strategy 2027, where we have 4 strategic cornerstones. Our identity, who we are. Our goals, what we hope to achieve. Our mission, what we do. And our vision, what drives us. As you can see here, our core business are in tolling, electronic tolling system, as well as traffic management. Kapsch is a pioneer and technology leader in electronic toll collection, as well as in advanced traffic management and demand management system. So not only we provide products to customer, but we also provide end-to-end solution. We have implemented many DSRC as well as GNS solution worldwide, not only in Europe, but to share with you, we are also participating in Singapore, the next generation of electronic road pricing system. We are also actively participating in terms of DSRC, roadside solution, and also working on a CITS proof of concept with the ERP2 contractor. On the right side, we have many traffic management we have done, not only in Europe, America, but we also have done a lot in Australia as well as New Zealand. Next.
Mr. Chin, your 2 minutes are over.
Okay, quick one. Yes, quick one.
Quickly finish.
Okay, so together with Department of Transport Victoria and University of Melbourne, we have developed a mobility hub in Melbourne. So this is part of the 10% revenue that we inject as R&D into projects. Next, please. So expanding the limits of mobility and preventing congestion with innovative solutions for transport and traffic, we always focus on protecting the environment. Next. Okay, this will be my last slide. So AIMS basically is a Kapsch smart intersection, which has developed many outcomes, as you can see here. So with that, thank you so much. If you have any question, you can direct to me or my Europe office. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Chin. Thank you for the presentation. Our next speaker is Mr. Daniel Navarro. He's Business Development Manager for APAC region from company Swarco. Please, Mr. Navarro.
Yeah. Hello. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you to Advantage Austria and the partners for giving me this opportunity to introduce one of our solutions. Yeah, please, next one. Swarco offers a wide portfolio of mobility management solutions to tackle different needs of each city. We go from a single intersection solution to the urban management solution of an entire city. For our urban mobility management solutions offer individual and coordinated solutions for cities of all sizes to get road users to their destination as quickly and safely as possible. Next, please. Next slide. Yeah. Currently, we have asked over 500 customers across the world what their problems statements are and in which direction they see the market is moving. So this the previous one. The result of this survey indicates that the rapid acceleration in the mobility world changed the need from looking for a perfect engineering system that lasts 10 years towards something more modular and flexible that can adjust to the changing needs. So Swarco has developed this solution called My City. It's a scalable solution that enables you to add new functionalities as you need it, integrate data from different systems in your city, not only integrate, but also analyze and add value, and can run in the cloud, which can alleviate the cities to be in charge of this critical infrastructure. Next, please. The benefit of these solutions are that we provide an environmentally sustainable solution for the city. We reduce waiting times by optimizing traffic flow. We keep road users informed about the traffic conditions. We also can provide early warning of dangerous situation and prioritize traffic modes, either public transport or ambulance. Our solutions, next please, are also in a way aligned with my colleague said, Martin from AustriaTech, are how to say, future-proof. We have
Your 2 minutes are coming to an end. Please
okay.
Finish your presentation, Mr. Navarro.
So, okay, then just to let you know that these solutions are also available to be connected to the coming ITS infrastructure. We have we can provide early warnings. We can increase safety by well, noise. Let's go to the next one, please. Okay, the solution. This is the solution to solve the traffic problems. It starts with data. Our solution allows you to collect and analyze data coming from traffic sensors. Our system analyzes and visualizes data in real time. Once you have an overview of the traffic conditions, you can perform a number of automated and scheduled manual actions designed to ease congestion. This constant feedback from our mobility management system means that you can see the result of these actions, and in real time you also can, you know, they are doing what they are supposed to do: improve traffic flow through your cities and streets and reduce the congestion. So this is my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Navarro.
Difficult 2 minutes.
Presentations are packed full with content, yes. So I can see it's sometimes a challenge for our speakers to stay within the 2 minutes, but I would like to remind them so that we try to stay within our time frame. Our next speaker is Mr. Christian ECKER. He's business manager from the Austrian Institute of Technology. Please, Mr. ECKER, the floor is yours.
Good morning from my side, or good afternoon from Vienna. I may give you an overview of our mobility services of AIT. AIT is Austria's largest non-university R&D institute. Next slide, maybe. We have around about 1,400 employees, and we are structured into 7 centers according to our research activities oriented on future innovation topics, of course, for our economy and society. I'm representing AIT Center for Energy, so the integrated mobility topic is integrated in the Center for Energy. We work on the energy system of the future, and our service portfolio is based on 3 central key systems. That's the public energy supply, industrial energy systems, and of course cities and the built environment. And decarbonization of all those systems is our main goal. Next slide, please. Mobility, our mobility research portfolio, mobility, of course, as a key driver. One back. Mobility as a key driver of those new future energy systems. Our mobility service portfolio consists of 5 pillars. That's infrastructure for alternative fuels, including the e-charging and hydrogen infrastructure topics, commercial transport and logistics. Of course, here we also focus on the urban logistics topics such as last mile problems, city hubs, stuff like that. Urban and regional mobility, of course, a very important topic. Public transport, for example, is included in this key service area. And automated mobility, a future topic for mobility using ITS tools. And one of our also main topics and key service area for our research activities, that's the mobility behavior is very important factor of success for enabling future mobility systems. Next slide, please. Just an overview of our key sectors. So we act on a national but also on a global level and focus hereby on 5 sectors. That's the railway industry, logistics service providers, public energy providers, public authorities in terms of traffic and transport, and public authorities in terms of urban planning and urban development. Next slide. That gives you an overview of our mobility services. We use simulation and optimization tools, technological tools for our science-based research and development activities, and in particular 4 research fields of our organization, of our Center for Energy focus on our mobility topics. Just to give you some examples of what we are working on, that's smart city KPI and monitoring systems for smart city strategies and concepts. We do impact
Your time
assessment.
is coming to an end. Please,
oh, thank you.
Your presentation.
For climate resilient urban pathways, mobility behavior change, as I told before, we do mobility service, very important multimodal traffic and transport planning, also making concepts for public transport and evaluation of public transport concepts, pedestrian flow and crowd management using a simulation tool and modeling. Very important topic. And for optimization, we have this research field, integrated transport optimization. Here we have those logistics, process optimization topics, on demand, mobility as a service. As I said, infrastructure for e-charging and hydrogen supply, sharing concepts, automated mobility and automated rail operations. Next slide. To come to an end, that's just an example. If you are interested, I can give you more insights on those best practice examples. It shows how we used our simulation tools on the left side for traffic and transport modeling. On the right side, that is the simulation tool for pedestrian flows in a subway station to identify bottlenecks in case of any incidents. So next slide, and that's my last one. That's just one example for our technology tools used for our research and development work. That is our City Intelligence Lab. A bit complicated to explain in 2 seconds. It's an AI technology is used for real-time impact assessment during the process of urban planning and urban and urban development. So
thank you, Mr. ECKER.
I thank you very much.
Thank you for the interactive presentation.
And I'm looking forward to follow-up discussions.
Our next company is Doppelmayr Cable Car. And I think we have 2 presenters. And I would like to ask Mr. Daniel PAETZOLD and Mr. Daniel Doppelmayr to take the stage, please.
I think Plasser is next. I think, from the slides, Michael, if I just interrupt. Yes, Sebastian OERTEL, maybe next from Plasser and Doira first. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon and good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I decided to take a slightly different approach and not talk about Plasser and Doira product portfolio, which covers all of the areas related to railway track technologies, from laying new track, maintaining track through ballast tamping or any kind of rail manipulation, nor the measurement systems that we have on the different vehicles to ensure that the maintenance actually at the end does pay off, to have a safe operation, all of which MTR already uses on a daily basis. I wanted to talk a little bit also why we are present in Hong Kong since 1979. If you go to the next slide, please, because we are already here for a very long time. And I wanted to take today to reaffirm our strong commitment to Hong Kong and the region. MTR is a world-leading rail operator and a key reference for the market in expansion that we plan in Southeast Asia. Obviously, the high standards of MTR led Plasser to grow here on a continuous basis throughout qualified staff, further enabling us to serve the regional needs as well as MTR in Hong Kong, and growing our installed base together with MTR. We just had some very recent successes this year and are hoping to continue this in various aspects. The idea and why we reaffirm Hong Kong for us as a key hub is the proximity to the different markets, but also the strive of MTR to be a world-class operator. And we share a lot of commonalities when it comes to the core values. It's hard to find an operator that is so committed to technology and growing through technology than MTR. We do hope that in the future we can, together with MTR, drive the digitalization of the track assets via data collection on our vehicles, utilizing the installed base, potentially enabling third-party data integration, in order to push basically past condition-based maintenance or monitoring towards a real-time and continuous asset evaluation, and expand this with Hong Kong as a central hub into the region. If you see on the next slide, that's the current footprint that we already have. And here really MTR was a key success in not only adapting the technology that comes out of Austria and the European rail market that we offer, but helping us as a very, very senior partner to give credibility to the regional operators that they have a very safe choice within Plasser and Teurer. With that, I hope to manage to not only stay within the 2 minutes, but also catch up a little bit, as we at Plasser always strive to be on time and in budget.
Thank you, Mr. Oertel. Perfect in time and perfect to the point. So now is for Doppelmayr to take the floor, Mr. Daniel Doppelmayr and Mr. Daniel PAETZOLD. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction and the opportunity to be part of this event. Hello and welcome from Doppelmayr, the world market leader in cable-propelled mobility. My name is Daniel Doppelmayr. Today we will give you a brief insight about the transport options with cable cars as means of multimodal public transport, seamless integrated into high-capacity transport networks. Our Hong Kong partner, Mr. Daniel PAETZOLD, will explain how to implement cable cars into existing environments to improve and supplement the existing transport networks and their unique benefits. Mr. PAETZOLD will show you some best practice examples from all over the world. I now hand over to Mr. Daniel PAETZOLD.
So thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon from Hong Kong. Next slide, please. Very quickly, why are we doing this and why are we talking about cable cars is other than for tourism, they're actually very much overlooked in this context for normal commuter transport and traffic. So you can see like Asia is actually at the back of normal public transport usage when it comes to cable cars. Next, please. In Mexico City, for example, the intermodality with roadways is absolutely common. Next, In Paris, you can see, thanks to the new sort of mayor there, who actually starts to understand intermodality much more, it also starts to become integrated. And next, when you discuss it in Hong Kong, you always run into the sort of misunderstanding of it, which is based on availability, as well, considering bad weather, incremental weather conditions of the typhoon. If you really look at it, actually, the cable cars are by no way worse than their sort of benchmarked, or often benchmarked comparisons. Next, good is, of course, the implementation, where we are much better than other sort of modes of transport. And certainly, as you can see on the next one, is the cost factor. So the cable car is much quicker to be implemented, much cheaper. Next, post-pandemic, of course, everybody is also considering things like the size of vessels within people get transported. That's actually much smaller. So I want to share with you, like, to start and to finish up this quick presentation, some examples where, with this new sort of understanding of cable cars in mind, they have been implemented. Next, I mean, certainly the one in Paris is a very interesting project, but as you see on the next one, as well in Israel, in Haifa, is something which is probably to be looked at again, especially in an urban context similar to Hong Kong, where cable cars for the first time are not very linear. They're actually following a sort of zigzag alignment through the city, as you can see on the next slide. And where implementation is incredible in terms of the topography and the areas linked. And finally, something we also have to, I think we jumped over one slide here. Can you go back one, please? No, then it's not in there. Good. So finally, I have to come to doing a bit of advertisement for Doppelmayr, because more than just being a provider of the hardware, Doppelmayr is absolutely capable of giving a more holistic approach into this implementation. As you can see on the next slide, it's a sort of well-trusted and old company. This was the one I wanted to show. Cable car is in a sort of very iconic landscape, just probably looking forward into the future. It will never snow in Hong Kong, but maybe the Lion Rock will also be graced by a cable car at some stage. Yeah, please to the previous slide. Yeah, Doppelmayr has the competency to holistically look into this and how to implement it. And on the next slide, you can see some of the numbers where probably, if you think of 15,000 cable cars that the company has been built, I think it's a very trusted partner. And so therefore I come to an end, come to a close. Sorry for being a little bit extended. Myself or Reinhard Fitz, or of course Daniel Doppelmayr, and always there for you to respond to any query. And if you have to contact us, certainly Franz Rössler or the Austrian Trade Commission will always be at your disposal. Thank you very much, and yeah, hope you.
Thank you, Mr. Doppelmayr and Mr. PAETZOLD.
Thank you.
We have 3 more companies to come. Again, the reminder, if you haven't done so, there's still the opportunity to book meetings with all the participants. So to dig into one-on-one meetings is a good opportunity. Our next speaker is Mr. Mario Galla, who is consultant also for MRM International, and he's already here. Please, Mr. Galla, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning. As you can see here, this is the typical today's global problem that we do have. People want to and have to be mobile. Next. Current rail infrastructure is large, expensive, and difficult to install. It's a 19th century solution. Next. Modern cities are dense. Smart cities need a modern rail-guided transit system. They've slowed up in this. The population is getting quicker. They're slowing down and still using the old rail system. Next. MRM, think out of the box. We took the task in modernising the rail-guided transit system, and the result is reducing design, footprint, construction, time and costs. This modern green technology with our patented software operates more efficiently. Next. I'm Mario Galla, CEO for Modern Rapid Mobility International. We have global projects going on, which is very interesting for us. We're an Austrian company. Next. Got the sound? Is the sound not running? This is to show you, I don't know if you're hearing the sound at all during the video, to show you how far the SkyWeb Express is. We are ready to do implementations overseas. This takes away, of course, a lot of area where normally it's been built up. We see us as a feeder that comes to the major hubs in major cities. It's so modern, and we have done testings. We have over 100 potential patents on this design and on this system. Next. Yeah, the SkyWeb Express is ideal to support smart city transit networks and has many positive aspects. Yeah, SkyWeb can be designed to have stations within buildings, has a very tight training radius for turning, is very flexible. It can be dismantled and extended. As we know, cities grow. Next. So you start off, please. You start off with a track, place your stations where they are needed, and then you can expand the transit network without disrupting the running system. It's very flexible, easy, and low in cost. Next. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. For any information, please feel free to contact at any time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Garda. Thank you for the presentation. Our next company is Triply, and I would like to ask Mr. Christian STELZMUELLER, who is the co-founder and CTO, to give us his presentation.
Perfect. Thank you for the invitation. So first up, good morning to everybody joining from Austria, and good afternoon to everybody joining from Hong Kong. My name is Chris, and I'd like to give you a short introduction about what we do at Triply. So to make it short, we try to make sustainable mobility accessible for everywhere and everyone. But why do we do that? If we go to the next slide, we see that passenger travel is, especially when people are moving back to the offices after the COVID pandemic, becoming a more and more big problem again. Emissions are rising just from the fact that people are now commuting to the offices again. We've heard previously from Christian ECKER from EIT that climate resilient pathways and mobility behavior change and climate analysis is an important topic, and that's exactly where we at Triply want to come in. On the next slide, we see that we help analyze and improve corporate mobility for companies. That means we're able to find out how people commute to work, and that with minimal data, which we see in the next slide. The only thing that we need to know about the company in order to give them a first mobility audit and an insight into their CO2 emissions caused by the employee transportation is the company location and employee count and locations of the employees. With this, we can then start our analysis. And in general, our analysis consists of 3 different steps, which we see in the next slide. First up, we analyze the status quo of one special mobility behavior scenario for this location. We can automatically find out what emissions are caused by employees traveling to the company location. We can quantify this either based on different KPIs that can be emissions, it can also be time, distance, and costs that arise for both the employees and the employer themselves. Next up, we can also provide our customers with an optimum scenario of how their mobility situation could look like if really every employee would commute to work in the best and most sustainable way possible. And that's, of course, a very fortunate scenario. Yes, next slide. And next up, we really help them find out how they can get from the current situation to their optimal solution, which means that we analyze different ways of how an employer can bring their employees to switch over to more sustainable modes of transportation. In practice, we're right now looking for 2 different kinds of partners, which we see on the next slide. We, on the one hand, are looking forward to work with mobility consultants, which we are already doing in Germany and Austria, which would use our software and provide improved services, improved mobility consulting to their customers. And on the other hand, we're also looking for big corporates which want to gain insights into their own employee mobility and test out and model different scenarios and how they could potentially improve employee mobility. That's everything from my side. I know that this was a short presentation, but if you have any questions, I want to know more, just schedule a meeting for later or let me know via email. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stelzmüller. We made up some time. So last but not least, it's my pleasure to introduce eVersum Mobility Solutions. And we have Mr. Juergen Heinrich, the managing partner of that company, as a speaker. Please, Mr. Heinrich, turn on. Mr. Heinrich, I have to mention, he's joining us only via microphone, so there is no camera from his side. Please, Mr. Heinrich.
Many thanks. Thank you very much. Well, my name is Juergen Heinrich. I'm managing partner of eVersum, and it's my great pleasure to give you a quick, as we call it, 4+1W briefing about eVersum. Well, if we jump to the next slide, please. Thank you. Well, the main question is, who are we? Who we are. eVersum is a OEM of electric public passenger vehicles in conventional and especially autonomous driving configuration. What do we offer? So we are offering purpose-designed vehicles, taking the advantage of the new era of electric driving. And in this respect, we're building at the moment, and we will look at it in a few minutes, a few seconds, at our product portfolio. So we have urban road trains in our portfolio, as well as shuttle buses and city buses. So what makes it special? What is our technology concept? Well, we have invented an entirely new vehicle architecture. We're utilizing state-of-art materials, battery systems, electronics, and we are actually here in combining all of the advantages of the electric drivetrain era. What makes us especially unique? So the unique part of us, and this is the beauty of the vehicles, we have an unrivaled match between range and passenger capacity, combined with an absolute sustainable energy storage function. It means we are going for an absolute zero emission concept with a sustainable energy battery system approach. Well, why is this of essence for the operator? Why might this be of essence for you? If you jump to the next slide, please. The main question is, what's in it for you? And here we are here to offer, and this is what is the concept of our service package. We offer the perfect match between a appealing commercial rentability product with an honest environmental sustainability. So we combine profitability with environmental sustainability. And what we offer, and this is coming from the technology, coming from conventional driving to autonomous driving, we give operators the unique chance to gradually establish autonomous driving operations. So we support driving from level 0 along the levels of autonomous driving to find the best fit for urban operators of autonomous driving. To give you a brief glance of our product portfolio, I would like to jump to the next slide, please. We see here from left to right, on the left side, this is our multi-unit urban road train, up to a passenger capacity of 70 passengers or cargo. In the middle, we see the e-shuttle, which is a shuttle bus with a capacity up to 60 passengers. And on the very right, we see the e-city bus, which is a typically 12-meter city bus design. Jumping forward, please, we can have a quick glance on the e-train. As said, this is a multi-unit urban train solutions, touristic applications, scenic, last mile transportation, as well as inner city cargo. If we jump forward, there is the next slide, please. Well, there is another impression of it for the city of Maribor in Slovenia, one of the first operators. Jumping forward, we can take a quick glance at the e-shuttle. E-shuttle, as said, also for the inner city urban transportation, also connecting remote locations, as well as being applied on airports and campuses. On the next slide, we would see some quick pictures about the interior. So also here, modern design, modern technology. Also here, big jump forward on sustainability of all materials being installed. Well, and on the next
time is coming to an end. Please finish your presentation.
The pictures as well. So this is the live picture of the e-shuttle being just now out on the roads. Well, and on the next slide also with in question also of the city bus. Well, and on the next slide, just to finish up, for us, it's a great pleasure presenting today to you. And well, it would be our joy to continue our conversation and learn more about the specific requirement for the Hong Kong region, for Hong Kong City, as to learn how we can generate a good fit for your demand. So thanks a lot from my side. Thanks for listening to me. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heinrich. Thank you for all the presentations that were very interesting. And I will now hand back to Hong Kong to Franz Rössler.
No, I only want to mention, because I think the sound was not so great, you know, with eVersum, and because I'm from Graz, so I might help as well. But mostly it was an OEM of electric city buses and all these complementary vehicles, and they are based in Austria, and also have a subsidiary in Slovenia where I saw vehicles. So I think just because the sound was not that perfect, but it's the only input for me as I'm from the same area from Graz as well. But I think with that, we give back to Merlin. I think that's the next one.
Thank you everyone for making the effort to present. I think it's hard to really ask many questions after all the presentation and be a short of time, but I'm trying to put up a few key questions that may be related to Hong Kong, so that you can shed some insight here. The very first one, probably because we first heard of Joseph's presentation from Kapsch and also Daniel's presentation from Swarco. Maybe a general question for two of you or the others. So many of the solutions that you offer depends on data. So the data environment in Austria or in China, I mean, they could all be different. So how would that be affected if you are seeking for local partners in Hong Kong in terms of data availability? Does it really affect you seeking partner? And I think Joseph also has the work with the Singapore government. So what is the dynamics here? So maybe you can shed a very quick insight to us. It's open, but I first heard of the question, the presentation from Kapsch and also Swarco, and this came into my mind.
Okay, so maybe I start. So for Kapsch, we are open to working with any local contractors, you know. We are more than happy. So we have done many projects overseas, and without local contractor, it's almost impossible. So of course, there's way for collaboration. And also bear in mind that we not only we work with contractors, but we also work with universities, the professors in their research, and probably how to implement it within that demographic domain, because every country, every cities are different. So this is something that is good that we work with the local research institution and also contractors.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I will just add that we work the same than Kapsch with a local system integrator. So we follow all the local regulations related to data protection. And moreover, most of our systems are also located in the facilities and premise of the end users. So we are not bringing data to Europe. So in that case, in case of data protection, we don't see any big issues. Also, we are high levels of security, so this infrastructure is becoming more critical. So we are also complying with high levels of internet security and avoiding any kind of hacking. So not big challenge for us this issue of data protection.
Thank you. Then maybe I quickly switch to a question for the wider incentive on Hong Kong, probably for Mr. Sebastian Otto, because you mentioned Plasser Far East already has a large footprint and operation with Hong Kong. So what is your insight like about getting a partnership in Hong Kong? Do you have any advices on how to approach this, and how do you see Hong Kong as a hub for potential partnership for developing opportunities here? I think it's both good for the Austrian side and also and the Hong Kong side to hear life experience.
Yeah, so as I said, Hong Kong is a great place to grow your business with local partners, and maybe even in an understanding that at one point in time the company takes a full foothold. Obviously, in the past, Plasser started with a local partner and then expanded to have its own operation here. So that's it's very easy to find a lot of people with a great business mind in Hong Kong that want to drive technology and growth and expand new markets. And at the same time, Hong Kong is a very centralized location within Southeast Asia. Obviously, it's if you draw a circle, 2-hour flight radius around Hong Kong, you get to all the major cities. But at the same time, we cannot just leave the Greater Bay Area unnamed. Once the borders do open up again with the mainland, we have already basically a metro system that does connect to Shenzhen. So it's quite easy to use Hong Kong as a gateway also into mainland China, which is obviously a ginormous market for all of the transportation companies, as most of the cities within China and the region are multi-million people that live there. So it's a fantastic place to be and grow the business.
Thank you. Then let's take a very last question, because we also hear some presentation about the work on sort of alternative or future mobility on cable car and also alternative rail. I think we all come across Hong Kong is very hilly, density populated, and one of the main challenges, land is very expensive, and this kind of like building right, landing right is very complicated. You have to work a lot with the government side in order to get approval. That create a huge barrier. So we have this presentation, I think from Doppelmayr, and also you have actually partnership in Hong Kong, and also we have Mario from the rail side. Maybe you can share a little bit more like how you think about this, because apparently there's a lot of like a hiccup or starting barrier to actually materialize such concept in Hong Kong.
Well, I may speak on behalf of
anyone from Doppelmayr, Mr. Daniel Russell. You
please unmute Daniel.
Yeah. You are unmuted. You muted. You're muted now.
Now unmuted.
Can you try to speak louder?
Can you hear me now?
Very low voice.
Very low voice. I need to sort of change some settings. It seems to me.
Seems not really.
Better.
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Okay, good. Sorry for that. If I speak on behalf of cable cars and especially implementing them as a sort of more modern means, the biggest problem is really paradigms. In Hong Kong, we always have certain ways how we do it, and they're often completely different than in the rest of the world. Yeah, just to name like the aging minibus driver population as an example, but we can live with it and we can make that compromise work. And as long as a compromise works, we don't see any need to change anything. That's also due to the fact that we live in a city that has basically absolutely no debt, and we have no fear of the future, so to speak. But I think we're more and more coming into a time where we will actually need to survive through smartness. And smartness actually then really means we need to not base our daily needs in urban transportation on exploiting some cheap labor force, but actually by probably employing some intelligent technology. And I think when we come to that point, you will very quickly see that all these road-based, very labor-intense, very low wage-driven, the MTR only makes money because they have the lowest wage structure in the world of a comparable company. the moment we have to turn away from that one, and we will do for sure, especially with our integration in the Greater Bay Area, we must look into alternative transport solutions and holistic solutions, which are probably not road-based and which are not based on human labor, but actually on intelligence and on engineering ingenuity. And I think that is probably the point where we will rediscover cable cars. And it should also be the point where we probably rid ourselves from this feeling that the cable car is an attraction, as we all grew up in Ocean Park and knew it there. It's the cable car ride. I think in the future, there will be the cable car ride from Sai Kung to Kowloon, and that's a wonderful experience of Hong Kong. And I think that is more the mobility that we should be striving towards if we want to maintain our being of Asia's world city and being an attractive city at the same time.
Very long vision, yeah. Sai Kung to Kowloon.
Sorry. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm at your disposal if you have more questions. And so it's also Daniel and Reinhard, of course.
Okay. I just wonder whether Mario, you want to add a few points from the rail perspective?
Yes, we've noticed that now due to the MRM that we have created here so many years now and done test driving, and I've also a lot of discussions with top cities. Of course, Europe is a bit of a delay due to the old structure of the cities and so forth, but they do know that they do have a big problem in transporting and moving people within the old city due to the, as you said before, land rights and so forth. What is very interesting for us, of course, and very strong over the, as we call it, over the lake. They're building large new cities. They're very open. The structure of the cities are completely different to what we're used to in Europe. Also in Asia, we know that land is very, very expensive. And with our system, we've noticed that we can use, we've worked out that we can do a 6-lane highway onto one of our Skyweb Expresses lines and routes. That's what we've worked out and what our engineers have done and our software experts. The question is of course, the people, due to these days, we're all more and more digitalization. So for the people want to move quicker, and they want to move a lot more safer. And this is something that has really come up very strongly in the last 2 years, and where we have done very promising contacts with special project organizers and so forth, which we're full in there. We find that the mobility is going to change. Exactly what Daniel said, it's going to change. People are going to think different. We have to think different. We have thought different. MRM have thought out of the box. We are ready to do together with other companies that have the same sort of intention to do cooperations together. For example, Doppelmayr on the mountain, we're on the ground. Everything is possible. We can do completely different ways of cooperations. This is where Austria is very strong. We talk with each other. We don't have any problems with each other. And this makes it very interesting. And of course, we'd like to get into Asia. We're looking for cooperation partners to think the same way that we want to do. We want, as we say, to predict the future is make it. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Do it. And this is what we say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That summarizes our chief executive in Hong Kong. His latest policy address is about taking actions. Let me try to wrap it up because we come to an end, because for the audience, you always have chance to talk to these companies individually. So I put it in this way because we hear about company solutions from infrastructure like alternative mobility, the data side, streamlining efficiency, and also from my expertise, I think from the climate and environment side, that Hong Kong also has its own carbon neutrality plan that emphasize actions on transport side. So there are a lot of areas to be discussed and opportunities here, but 1 hour is too short. So to put it into a follow-up and I think there are 3 things that we focus on doing. One is like, of course, from my side, I mean, and there's a lot of government intervention is needed to decouple some of the data and regulation to support you. So we will further do this. And secondly, I think from the company side, there's also supply side and the demand side, right? The supply side, we are looking for entrepreneurs in Hong Kong, and actually many entrepreneurs in Hong Kong or funds in Hong Kong, they have the money, but they need the right partnership here. So that's how we, for example, we organize the activity today, and we will further arrange more opportunities on this. And that's actually the last bit about the big user, about the demand side. For example, airport, big property developer, and I think Sebastian also mentioned MTR. They are really forward-looking company, large corporates in Hong Kong doing things in this way, and they are pioneering. For example, we work with the Airport Authority of Hong Kong, and actually they are looking for alternative e-mobility, not just small vehicle, but large size vehicle. But currently the supply in Hong Kong is quite little. So that means that there's more discussion on this going. And I think these three parts will summarize the nutshell of what we discussed today and move forward direction here. And with that, I think we overrun quite a bit already. I would just want to pass it back to Franz to wrap up everything together. Thank you, Franz. Pass it to you.
And thank you so much. Dankeschön, and it's amazing, the great input we got from our keynote speaker, Martin Dirnwoeber, and all the companies. So hopefully lots of Austrian engineering intuity came across, and we were willing, the Austrian companies, our experts are willing to work with all of you to adapt the solution, what's necessary. And you can see there's lots of knowledge. And of course, with great partners like the Business Environment Council and Merlin Lauer, we are in very, very good hands here, because companies can also go choose worldwide, where they would like to work with which partners. But here in Hong Kong, we will feel very, very comfortable and welcome. And you will see more of Austria here as well. So big thank you also from our side. Please contact Advantage Austria Hong Kong if you would like to have introductions to those or other Austrian companies. And as a follow-up, we will make all the presentations also available. Again, all the contacts for all the Austrian companies. So hopefully this creates more networks, and big thank you back to Merlin. I think this.
No, I just want to add a few words because I moderated the whole section and did not introduce too much about BEC itself, because we are a membership organization in Hong Kong for companies based in Hong Kong or have interest in Hong Kong. So if your company has a particular thought about getting more exposure in Hong Kong, feel free to get in touch with us. Some of you already have booked in, and I think that makes already very natural partnership here, because we have different types of activities like this to really showcase this. So I'm also happy to greet you through to our other teams who are more like coordinating company relationship. Thanks again from our side, Franz. Yeah, just
Dankeschön, Olli. German Dankeschön, also in the name of all the Austrian participants, the presenters, big thank you. Danke.
Thank you very much, everyone.